right, Connor, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Thank you for talking to us. What do you think happens after death?
I'm not entirely sure what happens after death. Probably, for me, I've always believed that if you believe so much that something's going to happen to you after death, your mind will create this world, whatever you perceive it as. But personally, I don't think anything happens after death. I think that's just it.
So if you can make anything happen in your mind, why not make it happen?
Well, why not make it happen? Yeah, but I think you have to really, really believe it. I don't know if I quite believe it that much to create this world in my mind.
So for people who really, really believe it, they're going to make it. They're going to a place called heaven.
Yeah, well, if I believe it enough, then I'd create this amazing world for myself, but I'm just not quite sure. I don't believe it quite as much as a lot of religious people. I think they'll believe this world, but I'm not entirely sure about heaven or anything like that, no.
So Connor, do you think about death at all?
I try not to think about death, to be honest. I think I came to like a stark realisation on my way to primary school one day that people do die, but it's not something that anyone speaks about, no one talks about it. It's just something you push away, really, I think.
It's kind of freaky to think about it, isn't it? Does it freak you out if you thought about it?
I think, yeah, it definitely does freak me out if I talk about it, because what is the point of doing anything if you do eventually just die and nothing happens to you? That's my kind of thought, but it's not a very nice one, so I push it away.
Exactly. If life ends when you die, then the whole purpose of life seems to be meaningless. That's where it leads you to think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely where it leads you to think, but I don't think that's a very healthy way of going about things. And I think if you want to make the best out of your life, I believe you've only got one life, but if you want to make the best out of it, why not?
Do you think, Connor, there could be like a heaven or hell? I mean, like a reality that is beyond our physical beings, something that people talk about, heaven, hell, a God, that sort of thing. Do you think that all of those things could be a possibility?
I think it could be a possibility, and it's just no one believes it. Not a lot of people, I should say, believe it at this point, but say a couple of 100 years ago, a lot of people did believe it, and maybe it is true, maybe it isn't true. I'm not quite sure. You can't prove these things definitively, so
let me push you a little bit harder now.
Okay.
As if I hadn't already, right?
No.
Okay, so let me just say, let's go with the fact that heaven and hell exist. Let's just go with that. Would you say, where would you go? I mean, would you go to heaven or would you go to hell? What's your opinion if there was one?
I think I'd like to say that I'd go to heaven. I don't think I've done anything that bad to say I should go to hell. I mean, I like to be a good person in my own interpretation of that. I feel like I am a good person.
Now, believe it or not, Connor, I'm going to put that to the test. How do you feel about that?
Okay.
You're nervous?
A little bit.
Okay, we'll find out. We're going to find out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to use a standard to work by to find out if you're a good person, because you said you think you're a good person, right?
Yeah, I'd like to believe that, but maybe you prove me otherwise.
Okay, right. Well, we're gonna just do a quick test. We're gonna use the 10 Commandments. That's in the Bible, the old 10 Commandments. It's a good standard to work with, and we're gonna do only 4 of the 10. All right. So we're not gonna overdo it. We're just gonna do 4 quick ones, hopefully. But for this to work, you gotta be honest with me. And if you're not honest with me, this is not gonna work. Fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay.
Okay. Just in case you're really interested, I did the test and I didn't do so well. All right. So just to give it, I'm not judging you. Just so you know.
Should I be worried about it if you didn't do so well?
Absolutely. You should worry. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Hey, Connor, we're going to start with commandment number 9.
Okay.
How many lies would you say you've told in your whole life?
I don't think you can really count that sort of stuff. I don't.
A few, right?
Yeah, a fair few, yeah.
More than one, right?
Yeah, more than one.
What would you call a You're laughing because it was many more than one, right?
Yeah, a lot more than one.
Me too. I can't judge. What would you call a person who tells a lie? Say I come to you and I lie, and you'd say, John, you are a
liar. Yeah.
That's a good description for somebody who lies. Have you ever taken something that doesn't belong to you? And remember, we said we're going to be honest here. All right. So, have you done that? Have you taken something that doesn't belong to you?
I think I do remember taking a couple of things that don't belong to me, yeah.
And if we probably tried harder, we'd probably find a few more things than that, right?
Yeah, probably.
Exactly. Fair enough, right? So what you call a person who takes something that doesn't belong to them?
A thief.
You're getting this now. You're getting the point.
I'm
Okay.
not feeling so good about myself.
It's going downhill, right? It's not working out. We got 2 more to go. You might balance it. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Have you ever taken God's name in vain? You know, instead of swearing, you said, "Oh my God, JC," that sort of thing. You know, without even thinking about it. It just rolls off off your tongue. You know, when you're surprised or angry or something like that.
Yeah, I think I have maybe a few times.
A few times. Now, if you know anything about the Bible, you know that's called blasphemy.
Yeah.
God says that I won't hold him guiltless who takes my name in vain, because he says it's a holy name, it's a perfect name. Don't use it as a swear word. You know, 4-letter filth word. You know.
Yeah.
We'll do a last one. So far 3 down, right?
Yeah.
We got 1 more to go.
Yeah, I've not. Yeah, you proved me wrong.
I'm proving you wrong, right? But we're gonna nail this one. Okay, we nailed it. You're a bloke. You got red blood flowing through your veins, so you're gonna be guilty of this one. So I'm predicting it. How is that?
Okay. Well, yeah.
That's fair enough, right?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Jesus said that if you as much as look at a woman with lustful desires in your mind, you committed adultery with that person in your heart. Would you say you've looked at a woman at least once in your life and had lustful desires?
I'd say so. I've got a girlfriend of just over 6 years, so it'd be weird if I hadn't.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So you're guilty of that one
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Okay, so you're going down, right?
Yeah.
So, Connor, and I'm honestly not judging you because I failed all 10 commandments. By your own admission, so far you admitted to me that you're a lying, thieving, blasphemer, and adulterer at heart.
Okay.
It's not good, right?
No, it's not very good.
It's not good. Now, thank you for being honest with me. I really appreciate that. As I said, if you're not honest, it's not going to work. Okay, now, let's just say you die and you appear before God on Judgment Day in his courtroom, and he can see everything you've done in darkness and in secret, and he could see that you've broken all these commandments. And if he judged you by that standard, which is a pretty good standard to work with, would you come out innocent or guilty?
I think if he asked me the same questions and I've answered honestly, then I think he'd say yes, I am guilty of those commandments.
Yeah, I mean, you admitted them, so
Yeah.
we know that it's guilty, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would God do with a person who's guilty? Would that person go to heaven or would he go to hell?
I think it depends on the circumstances, but obviously I don't feel like the stuff I've done is so wrong. He could forgive me for it. Yeah.
Okay, so he will overlook it. He will turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah, I think so. It's not too bad. If you look at someone's whole life, if he is watching over everyone, then I think he would forgive it, yeah.
Okay, now here's the thing, right? I'm going to put that to the test.
Yeah.
If somebody came into your house and he stole your belongings, whatever they are. I mean, your DVD player, your Xbox, you probably have one and you like it, or anything you have, your possession that you consider very dear.
Yeah.
And that guy gets caught. So he robs you, he gets caught and appears before the judge. And he says to the judge, look, it wasn't a big deal. Come on, judge, you should let me go. Now, if the judge will let him go, what would you call the judge?
I think there's nothing. It depends what if he's taken it.
He's taking everything. He's taking everything you like.
Oh, okay. Well, then the judge has done me wrong, really, hasn't he? Yeah.
There was a word to that. He's a corrupt judge if he just turned a blind eye.
Yeah, okay.
And if God were to turn a blind eye to someone, he would be what?
A corrupt God, yeah, I see.
Corrupt God. So if he wasn't a corrupt God and he gave us perfect justice, we'll be in trouble. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of people would be in trouble, yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody. Now, if it turned out to be true, Connor, and I want you to be open-minded about this, turned out to be true, and you find yourself spending eternity in hell, because that's the justice of God. You know, you committed a crime, you have to pay for it. It's kind of like if you appear before a judge and you stole a car and it caused damage of £100,000,
Yeah.
and the judge says unless you pay the £100,000 you're going to prison,
Yeah.
but you can never pay it. So therefore you're in prison for a long time. This is kind of how hell is going to work out.
Yeah.
If that turned out to be true, would that concern you? Be honest with me.
I think that definitely would concern me, but if everyone's sinned and everyone's going to hell, it's going to be quite crowded, isn't it?
So you might get away with it. Maybe there's no more room for you, right?
Yeah.
He might say, "Oh, there's no room for Connor. Come on, get into heaven," right?
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Kind of hoping that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
by default going to heaven.
it's a problem if you turned out to be the first person you judge, right? Then you're going in there forever, right?
Yeah, well, I'm quite young, so hopefully I'll go there late and get away with it.
Fair enough, fair enough. But if it turned out to be true, then you wouldn't like it, and neither would I. Is that fair?
I'd say that would be fair.
That would be fair. Now, Connor, I've got some good news for you. I know it all sounded pretty bad here,
Yeah.
and half of this is nervous laughter, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So here's some good news. You and I are criminals because we broke God's commandments, we violated His standard, and if God is a just God and He's a caring and a holy and a perfect and righteous God, He's going to make sure the criminal gets it. And if the criminal gets it, that criminal is going to God's prison He calls hell. Not a good place. It's a place of punishment.
Yeah.
But also, God is full of love and mercy, and He wants to offer forgiveness. So how does God, who wants to uphold justice and provide forgiveness and mercy, how does He reconcile those two together? This is how He does it. He comes down 2,000 years ago. That's the story of Jesus. You probably heard of it.
Yeah.
And He paid for the fine Himself. He laid down His life willingly on the cross, died a horrible death, rose again on the third day, so that when you appear before Him on Judgment Day, in His courtroom, He can legally let you go because somebody else paid for your fine. It's kind of like somebody coming in and bailing you out.
Yeah.
Even though you're guilty, someone pays for your fine, He can let you go. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
There are two things you've got to do to get this free gift. Number one, you got to say sorry. A judge will not let a criminal go if he's not even remorse about the crime he committed.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
But that's not enough. Somebody's got to bail you out. All you got to do is accept the gift. All you got to say, I put my trust in the work that Jesus did on the cross. In the same way as you put your trust in the person who's going to pay for your fine.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So two things, you've got to say sorry, repent. It's a big word. Repenting means you turn away from them. Not just sorry, you remorse, you turn away.
Yeah.
And then you put your trust not in yourself, because earlier I said, would you make it to heaven? I think you said, you'd like to think you would.
Yeah, I said that, but now you
Now
prove
it's
me
different.
otherwise, yeah.
So now you're not going to put your trust in yourself anymore, because if you did, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You want to put your trust in the work that Jesus did on the cross.
Yeah.
Okay, two things, and if you don't do them, what will happen if you die today?
Then I go to hell,
That's
from
right.
what you're saying.
I'm afraid so. But if you do it, you're guaranteed to go to where?
To heaven, yeah.
Because it's not something you did, it's something that God did for you. All you're doing is receiving it. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Connor, I want you to think about those things. Now, can you think of a good reason why not to get right with God as soon as possible? Can you think of a good reason not to do that?
If you don't believe in God, and you don't believe in this punishment, then I guess that'd be a good enough reason.
Yeah, but what we believe doesn't change reality. I mean, if I was crossing a road and I didn't believe in traffic, I'm going to get the car and die either way. Yeah.
It's got the car gonna hit me.
The car's going to get you.
Yeah, I'm gonna avoid roads now.
And the same with God. If we believe or we don't believe, the truth is always going to take precedence over what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem wise for us to dismiss reality, truth, because we think something is not true. If a criminal didn't believe in prison, he still goes to prison.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what we are. We're criminals, and God has given us a way out. It doesn't make sense for us to dismiss it because we think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
When in reality, we're going to be in deep trouble, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Can I ask you to think about it and
Yeah.
and put some serious thought into it, because man, nobody's going to live forever, and you don't know if you're going to live tomorrow. Neither do I, for truth, right? You want to be right with God today.
Yeah.
Would you think about that?
I guess, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Hey, listen, Connor, I want to thank you for talking to me. Do you have a Bible at home?
No, I don't.
I want to give you a gift for talking to me, and in there's a Bible as well.
Okay.
And it's a gift, it's a free gift. In the same way as God gives you a free gift of life, He tells you can live forever if you repent and put your faith in Him. The same thing, I'm going to give you a gift that you didn't earn, and in the same way as we didn't earn God's gift. But in there's a Bible, and I want to encourage you to read it and follow what it says, obey what it says, because it's God's letter to you. He's saying, this is reality, this is the problem that you're facing, and this is the way out. It sounds foolish not to take it. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, great. Connor, thank you so much again. Put it here. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Put the fear of God in me.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah. You're going to hell now.
Hey, listen, I would be first in line if God didn't give me the gift as well. So you
Yeah.
got the gift. You can take it and receive it. Don't turn it away.
Okay.
So hang in there. I'm going to give you this to hold on.